So in life, in a lot of circumstances, in a lot of different ways, there is two types of people that walk amongst us. And regardless of how you feel, you are one of these people. So I hope you watch this video thoroughly, and I hope you listen to it multiple times so you are able to retain everything that I'm about to share with you of this story of the racket and the glove. And I'm gonna start with the glove. You see, in sports, the glove is known to catch things. The glove is known to receive things. You see, in life, people are the glove. They're open to new opportunities in life. People are able to be open to new relationships, regardless of what their past has given to them. They're able and open to new events, new travels. They're open to receive positivity. They're open to a life of optimism. They're open to wealth. They're open to happiness. They're open to being able to reach their desires and reach their destiny. They're open. They're the glove. They're down to catch new things. They're down for all these great experiences in life, and they're not afraid to take the risks in life. They're not afraid to go out on the limb and go and risk it to get to the next level. You see, if you don't risk things in life, you're never going to be able to fully enjoy and fully live what life has for you. There is not an area in life that is not risky. And matter of fact, if quite frankly, you go through life and you never take the risks in life, you're going to end up with a life of regret. And I'm going to share with you right now how risky life is. A great speaker by the name of Jim Rohn once said, everything in life is risky. And I'm going to tell you, life is so risky that you're not going to get out of it alive. And as real and as true as that statement is, everything really is risky. If you never take that and you never operate it and get it into the philosophy of your life of taking the risk, being the glove, being open, if you're never open-minded, you're always going to be closed off to a lot of different things that are great waiting for you in your life. You have to be able to develop a positive mindset. You have to be able to have yourself open-minded and develop that attitude of a winner. If you never develop the attitude of a winner, you're always going to be the opposite. You're going to continue to take a lot of losses in life because most people begin to quit once they never see any victory in their life. When you begin to operate your life under the authority of God that He's given through you by our Lord Jesus and dominate in every single area that you've been created to, that is when you're truly going to be able to be victorious. That is when you're going to be able to live a life that you love, live a life of luxury, live a life of desire. When you begin to put in the work now that others don't, so later you'll do what others won't be able to do. But you're never going to be able to receive these things if you don't move in according of the ways of the glove. You have to be open. You have to be willing. If you're willing, you're ready. I've spoken to a lot of people in life when it comes to success and it comes to different goals they're going for. And if you get into this position of, oh, I don't think I'm ready, or I hope I'm ready, or oh my gosh, I don't know if I qualify here. I don't know necessarily if I have this under my belt. Maybe I need to wait longer. No, listen to me. If you're willing, you're ready. God will work it out later. God will continue to work everything in your mind. Romans 8:28, he says, all things work together for those who love the Lord according to their purpose. Listen to me. All things, not some things, not every now and then, but every single thing He'll work out for those according to the purpose that He's called upon your life and those who love them. So the glove, be open, be ready to receive, be ready to receive the greatness in your life, because your life is not worthless. Your life is worthy, and you have great things trying to enter into it and be a blessing to you so you can be a blessing to others. And then that takes us to the racket. So in sports, we know the racket is known to hit away things that are coming to it, or the racket is known to return what it's trying to come to them. So sadly, a lot of people are the racket in life. A lot of people continue to go through life and they reject different things that are possibly a blessing to their life. They have the philosophy in life and they're closed-minded. That's their philosophy. The philosophy of a closed-minded person never receives open doors. And the philosophy of a closed-minded person, quite frankly, is someone who is everything that is the exact opposite of the glove. They aren't able to receive because they're constantly hitting everything away. You see, it doesn't matter either of what you've went through in your life, because regardless of the situation, the facts are still the facts. See, a lot of people will go and blame things from their past relationships, or maybe it's childhood trauma or fear or different elements that's happened into their life that it makes them the way they are. But the truth is, even after all of that, it still is on you. It doesn't matter where you've came from. It doesn't matter how you come up. It matters how you end up. A lot of people will always come with the rah, 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 but it's because they are afraid to admit that they are living in fear. And when you live in fear, you are always going to be against whatever God has for you. Because if you move in fear, you're not moving in God. He said that he's given you a spirit of courage, of love and self-control, a sound mind, not one of fear. So if you're moving in these ways of fear, you're not operating in the way that you were called to, and you were called and created to dominate. So we have to be able to develop that philosophy and know that if we really want the opportunity to come into our life, we have to make the changes in our life that are necessary. But you see, a lot of these people, the racket, they reject all new opportunities. They reject relationships and blame other past relationships for their past hurt and their past childhood trauma and all these different areas in life that they constantly reject. They always have an excuse. These people never continue to move forward in life, and their soft spot, their fallback plan is to blame everybody else for their own issues except for themselves. They will go through life and hide behind others and hide behind everything else. But instead of being vulnerable and just being real and admitting that the issue is within, they never begin to win on the out surface, because everything that is internally manifest externally. A lot of people nowadays are always talking about manifesting, but truthfully, you're not going to manifest a thing unless you are manifesting correctly. Or if you're not manifesting incorrectly, you're going to malfunction, because if you don't function according to the ways of manifestation, you're going to malfunction. And when you're malfunctioning, you're going to bring in a lot of things that you're trying to tap into the spiritual world of manifestation. You're going to bring to yourself regret. You're going to bring to yourself depression. You're going to bring to yourself evil. You're going to bring to yourself disappointment. You're going to bring to yourself stagnation and just idle, because you're not even connected to the sources that are able to manifest. Now, notice I said sources, because there is an ultimate source. That's God. That's Jesus Christ. That's the source of all. And then there's many other resources that we're able to be blessed from different relationships in life, from different people. And there's dark forces of the world. And again, you mix with the wrong source, you're not plugged into the wrong outlet, you're going to receive power from the wrong source. So we have to be mindful, and you have to be open to receive the new relationships, to be able to go farther in life. You see, a lot of these people that are the racket, it doesn't matter what they've been through, they continue to not want to change. They will go and even blame the government. They'll go and blame the past history, and they'll claim that things that happened in history is now affecting them, themselves personally today, when really it's their choices that affect them today. Right now, where you are is because of your choices and your decisions. It has nothing to do with what happened to the job force 10 years ago. It has nothing to do with what has happened to different past tragedies and traumas that have went on to people 10 generations back. It has nothing to do with whatever your parents did to where you are now. You see, a lot of people, these racket people, will just continue to live in cycles. They'll live and do what their parents taught them and what they were told and what they see on TV and what they see on social media instead of ever beginning to think for themselves. The racket lets everybody else think for them, and then they react off of what they've been given instead of creating your own possibilities and being open to new and great opportunities and learning and thinking for yourself, and then going and creating a beautiful world that God intended for you to create. You see, what's wild is that I used to work with this lady back in the day, years back at a Slim Jim factory. And she gave us this story one day after a lot of different elements have happened and a lot of different people were going and doing a lot of things they weren't supposed to. And everybody was pointing the finger. Everybody was pointing the finger at everybody else. They were blaming everybody else except for them own selves. And what was great about this story she shared is that she got up and she said, the next time you go and begin to point fingers at other people, realize that you have 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. 4, depending on how you point. And when I heard that, I was like, man, that is amazing. That is great. The next time you go to point your fingers at anybody else at any circumstance in life, know that you have 3 or 4 other fingers pointing right back at you. Because we are the biggest issue in our lives. We are the reason why we don't end up succeeding and why we don't end up going and prevailing in life the ways that we truly want to. We are the cause. We are the issue. And as soon as we get to that point of realization and accepting that, the faster we are to be on the right track of success and literally conquering every obstacle in life. You see, I wanted to share with y'all, there's this story of this man, just to prove to you more that it doesn't matter where you're from, what the shade of your skin is, whether you have more melanin than me or less than me, or we are the same. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter what your parents did to you growing up. It doesn't matter how you continue to develop through life. What matters is right now. Because right now, your current choices of your present reality will bring to you and birth your future reality. And it doesn't matter what you've been through. What matters is what's next when it gets to this point. There's a man by the name of Paul Alexander. I read about this man a while back, and it was so inspiring that a man that literally had everything taken from him was able to exceed above everybody else's ways of thinking he should have ended up. Paul Alexander was born in 1946. Paul Alexander, at the age of 6 of 1952, he ended up catching polio, and it paralyzed his entire body. And he's famous now in the world because he's still living to this day at the age of 76. He's been in the iron lung that pumps oxygen into his body and keeps him alive for 7 entire decades. This man didn't stop in life because of the challenges that he was served and given. This man, Paul Alexander, after literally being paralyzed from the neck down, went on to become an author writing books. This man went on to become an amazing, beautiful painter. You should look them up. I encourage it. This man ended up becoming a lawyer. He went to school. He ended up going and developing all of the areas in life that he needed, that people should have ended up pointing at him and saying, no, he's going to be this. He's not going to be nothing. In every single piece of his life, he had every right to claim, I am just paralyzed and I shall do nothing. I shall be a statistic because of the cards that I've been dealt in life. But this man decided to throw in the cards and deal his own, and he became an inspiration to the world. And not only when after he became a lawyer, he went on to teaching other court officials how to do things correctly. While this man was paralyzed, living in an iron lung for over 7 decades. This man is a true literal inspiration to every single person in the world. And I encourage everybody that listens to this or watches this video to look up Paul Alexander and dive in more in detail of the authorizations, the literal practices, the absolute amazingness that this man has been able to achieve. Because every single person watching this video, if you happen to be in the exact state of what Mr. Alexander's in, you literally can become an inspiration to change the world. And the majority of all of you watching this are going to have way more advantages than Mr. Alexander. So I challenge you on today to let your past be your past and let your present begin to give birth to a positive future. Stop allowing yourself to be a racket and always rejecting everything coming into your life because you live a life of pessimism. I challenge you to walk into a light of optimism and begin to strive to be a glove. Yes, things are easier said than done, but they never get done if they never begin. So take this time right now in life that you have and begin to make a change for the better and begin to let yourself grow in ways that you've never even realized that you could be. And I promise when you go and strive outside of what teachers and schools and all these different ways that they try to limit us, and you go against the grain and you begin to learn for yourself, you will blow your own mind. If I listened to the school systems, I would not be doing what I do today. I used to be challenged and put in classes that were for a slower learning education because I wasn't able to go and read and be able to retain what I read. But now I literally travel around the US and soon the world, literally speaking things, all that I've read and that I've memorized. You see, the school system is not set up for you to be a thinker. The school system is set up for you to be a worker. The school system will go and try to teach a physical being with physical standards when you are a supernatural creation. They try to even go and limit you in their actual ways of testing and defining your education when you are beyond it. All you have to do is continue to strive and learn and grow and find out what you love. It's most likely the passion that always comes to you before you sleep, that you may dream about throughout the day, that people told you you weren't good enough and people told you you couldn't to achieve. But I'm here to let you know that you can. Stop worrying about the losses in life because you only take lessons until you get the dub. Everybody is created to be victorious, but you can't have the change you want until you change yourself. Warriors, let's go.